Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Figgleheads, where Dan fears of the haunted house, Aidan cannot break the chain of Mandela catalog, and our special guest, Stan Chelsea, who made the art for the show, for the love of God, keeps talking about dreams like, oh my heavens.
Welcome to the Figgleheads podcast. I'm Josie. This is Dan and Aiden. Do I have to say anything else?
You're
No, I think
you're
you're good.
fine. No, you're all good.
Okay.
Wow, we have our first guest here today, Dan. The first three
Hey,
person.
yeah. Now, you don't have to listen to just our annoying voices anymore.
No, there's three of us now.
There are three of us now. Aiden, I have something to tell you. You might get a kick out of.
What?
I restocked the fridge today.
God damn it! I knew it. I knew it. I knew you were gonna say something like that. I'm not even kidding.
Had to. It's a bet. We got to keep it going.
I knew you had to. I knew you had to.
Chelsea, you want to
You
explain
guys
yourself
doing?
a little bit?
What?
You want to talk about yourself a little bit for the people that
Wow.
don't know you very well or at all?
Yourself an intro.
Um.
Okay. So, for the people that don't know, Chelsea's the person that made the beautiful art that you stare at in every single episode except for relationship advice.
You get to see my ugly mug.
Yes, it is.
It is really good.
I could have just damaged my mic doing that. I should not have done that.
Aiden, don't touch your microphone for the next hour.
It's gonna be. What if someone walks in and I have to mute?
Click on the computer.
Fine. Whatever. I don't even care.
Touch the microphone.
I don't care. I don't care.
Don't care?
I don't care. I don't care.
Okay, then I just got 2 6-packs, Coca-Cola, Mountain Dew, some waters
You know,
on the mini fridge, and I have one sitting on my desk right next to me right now. And I'm gonna open it right next to the microphone.
I don't care because I'm so sick and tired of soda. I drink it so much because of work. Also, that sound was really crisp. I'm gonna give that one to you.
Yeah, I know it would be. I actually kind of got scared that it wasn't gonna make a noise because I had already drank out of it.
Well, it made the noise.
You know what other noise is crisp?
What's that? Oh, I don't like that.
You don't like the sound of a chip crunch?
No, not at all. I don't like it.
Ow!
I have like a thing against people eating. I don't like the sound of people eating.
Fair.
I'm weird like that. Are you okay, Chelsea?
You alright, Chelsea?
Yes.
Okay.
Is it laughter or nervousness?
Sadness.
Why?
Nothing. Continue.
Okay. Do you not like that I don't like the sound of eating or something?
No, I was joking. Shh. Just continue.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Now that we're on the topic of ASMR, I find it very disturbing.
ASMR.
Just do that as a joke. Yes.
I hate ASMR. Unless I do it myself, and then it's funny.
I guess I can't say that I hate it because sometimes it's like sometimes you hear like a bunk on like wood or something. That's kind of like fun to listen to, but when people tell me that they are that it flips a switch for them, lose me.
Huh.
Flips a switch.
It's a switch that gets flipped by the sound of sounds.
You flip a light switch, you're turning the light on or off.
Amen.
So
What is-
that's what I'm trying to say without saying.
What does ASMR even stand for?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look
I was gonna try and make up some random bullshit off the top of my head, but I'm not quick enough thinker to do that.
I assume it's audio simulated mental something.
Recording.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
Uh,
A tingling, static-like, or goosebump sensation in response to specific triggering audio or visual stimuli.
oh.
So yeah, that's that.
Oh. ASMR talk over because I don't want to talk about that anymore. It's bringing back weird memories that I've had.
Would you call them fears or horror stories?
Spoopy. Traumatic, yes, they're terrible. They were awful. They were. Oh, I wanna. No, I don't want to relive it. So I guess if that counts, then yes.
Okay. Well, shall we get into the episode then?
Yeah, sure.
All
I was
right.
gonna say, well, I guess it had nothing to do with the topic. I guess
I mean, I don't know. But
I was.
who wants to go first? I feel like we should have Chelsea tell her story first, but if she's too scared, I can go.
You go first.
Okay. So, my first story involves Chelsea.
Oh,
No. So this happened on the Saturday of February break, just a couple weeks ago, and she knows exactly what I'm talking about. So, after my party, I went over to her house, and like we waited a few minutes and then we went over. And on our way over, I smelled a skunk, but it was like really distant, so the skunk had feared something, but it was pretty far away. And so I made a mental note because I originally thought it was a campfire, and Chelsea was like, "No, no, that's a skunk." And so we kept walking.
Bear.
No, it wasn't a bear. So
It's afraid of a bear.
uh, okay,
Bear's the threat. That's my guess.
no, because otherwise I'd talk about how I saw a bear, and I would have told you this story before. So we kept walking, and we got to her house, and we just hung out there for a while. It was like an hour or two, and so we walked in through the front porch, but I was leaving through the back porch, right? And I should mention, and you know this because you were at the party, we were watching Mandela Catalog at my party, right? It always comes back. It always comes back.
I wasn't watching it for the reasons explained in the first episode.
Yeah, but I was watching it.
I could hear it though.
I think it worked. I think that friend is inside your house. Now it's up to you to
Stop.
find them.
Stop. Your voice isn't scary enough, but still, I hate hearing those words.
Yeah, I watched the... Yeah, whatever. Anyways, I went to leave, and I went through the back door this time because I prefer going from her back door to my front door. Because it's easier and it'll draw less attention in the neighborhood if there's people out. And so I put my shoes on, we said goodbye, and I went to walk out the door when in the woods I heard a...
There was a bear!
And there was some, like, it sounded like talking with a groan, but I couldn't tell what it was. It was like, and I heard that, and it sounded like it was coming from my backyard. So I turned around and I was like, "Did you hear that?" And she was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "What the hell was that?" And she was like, "It was probably a hyena or something because they make coyote. Yeah, coyote." She was like, "That's probably a coyote because they screech like that." And I was like, "That was not a screech. That was an alternate trying to speak." So I went back. What?
Hyenas are native to Africa. What made you think she said hyena?
Okay. In my defense, I had just helped with the Lion King. I had just helped with Lion King, and their whole thing is hyenas being the bad guys. So hyenas were fresh in my mind still. So I hung out at her house for a little longer, so whatever it was left, because I didn't piece it up until I got home, but I'm assuming the skunk went off because of whatever that animal was. And so after that, I walked out her front door this time, and I went to go to my yard. My parents had opened the garage door just in case it was some animal that had rabies or something. And as I was walking in my front yard, so my dad's car is black, right? So the light
Yes.
from the garage was reflecting against the car. And so that's how I could kind of like see the car out like in the dark. And as I was walking up close, some of the reflections against the car from the garage started just going away, like something was walking in front of them. And I was like, I was committed too much. I was already past the dip between our yards, so I was already basically in my yard again. And so I literally just like turned my flashlight on, looked back and forth like it was Five Nights at Freddy's, and slowly crept my way into my garage. And the second I got in my garage, I kicked off my shoes, sprinted into the door, and pressed the button behind me and slammed the door behind me. And I was in my house. I have no clue
Safe.
what it was. I have no clue what that reflection thing was. All I know is there was some weird creature in the woods.
It was a bear.
I wish.
There aren't bears.
There are bears around us.
How? How do they fit in our woods?
Oh, not in our
Uh,
woods, but also our wood.
No.
We have a lot of dense woods, just not in our area. They could probably wander through neighborhoods and such.
It would only be a black bear. That's probably the only thing you'd find around here. But also, that's also quite rare where we are.
Just a lot.
That's more in the New England region of the countries where you'll find more bears.
Yeah.
Just like blaming it on a bear.
Whether you
I was
liked it
gonna
or
say
not,
something.
you were involved in my story, Chelsea.
Man,
Well, you were involved in the first story, I should say.
I swear, if I was you, Aiden, and Chelsea told me it was an alternate making those noises, I probably would have pissed myself on the spot.
oh my.
Then
It's probably
you
she would
just-
have been like, it was probably an alternate.
Oh no.
You put that thought in my head, I'm gonna just lose it. Honestly, at first I'd probably also would have thought it was a coyote. But if you put the idea of alternate in my head, I'm gonna
Oh.
freak out.
I know I've heard coyotes before because my grandparents live up even farther into the woods. They have coyotes all the time. I hear them all the time when I'm traveling up there because they don't have air conditioning, so I have to leave my window open at night. I hear them all the time. They did not sound like that. Whatever that sound was, it was. You were inside your house. I was out in your yard.
I heard a higher pitched scream. I don't think I heard what you heard.
Either way, I know for a fact that that creature was not a coyote.
It's just a dude with a chainsaw.
Maybe he was
dear.
maybe he was a drunk dude harvesting on a coyote in our backyards.
Oh dear.
I think
Muskrat.
that'd be pretty funny. I don't know what that creature was. I don't want to look into it because if I don't hear any audio from any creature in our area that matches that sound, then I'm gonna be freaked out. Also, my first thought wasn't actually alternate; it was Wendigo.
Wendigo?
Indigos are really freaky. They're always depicted wrong, though.
They're forest cryptids. That's all I know.
They're depicted as like a wolf-looking thing with antlers, but that's like wrong. They're actually more like a skinwalker looking. They look like humans. If you look up a picture of a skinwalker, actually, I can find an image.
Skinwalker.
if I
The
know-
concept really freaks me out.
Yeah, it's a little creepy. If I know how to spell Wendigo, I'm gonna find a picture.
Okay.
I don't think I know how to spell Wendigo.
I don't think you do.
Which is-
either.
I'm a little embarrassed because it's not that hard of a word to
It's
spell.
Wendigo.
I got it. Yeah, a lot of these depictions are wrong. Okay, I'm gonna do what people usually think it looks like. And that's what people usually think it looks like if it's gonna send.
That's what I imagine.
Pretty.
But this is what it actually looks like.
Ooh.
Wasn't that the one that they? Which one was the one they used in Until Dawn? Do you know?
I don't know until dawn.
Until Dawn, it's a video game where your choices matter and people can get killed.
Well, I've never played it, so
I haven't either.
nor have looked into it, so I don't have any knowledge on it.
Let
Oh.
me see. That just looks like a magic card, to be honest.
That looks really cool, actually. Okay, that
Yep.
freaks me out.
The Wendigo from Until Dawn is like a skinwalker.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I don't like that.
but thankfully,
Good
the
thing-
Wendigo is What are you saying?
The gift Chelsea sent looks like those creatures from the Scooby Doo movie when they go to Monster Island.
Looks like a gray avatar.
Yeah.
Thankfully, the Wendigo is like a legend of some other place, though, like nowhere near here. I don't remember where, but
Bosnia or something. Or like somewhere really far away.
Can can, can I say my part of the story for when Aiden left for that day?
Go ahead.
Okay, so after you left, I wanted to get some food from downstairs, but I was nervous about, like, usually I'm not scared of like the dark, but like after watching the Mandela catalog stuff, I was a bit freaked out. So I went downstairs and I like walked really slow, cause like my eyes were like looking at everything. And you know how like in the dark you get those, what are they called? They're like the static in your eyes. Like everything looks like it's moving.
I know what you're talking about.
And it was like unusually silent too in the house,
God,
which was horrible.
oh, I don't like that.
And there's like a lot of dark places in my house, so I'm like, the static is making it look like everything's moving. And I went in the kitchen, and it was like the most silent right there. And I was looking outside the window, and I was looking in the laundry room, which was like pitch black, and then the living room, which was pitch black. There were like 4 rooms that were pitch black, and the basement door was, I don't remember if it was open or closed, but it was probably pitch black in there too. And
The basement door open and with the light off. Like, I've been at your house and your parents never do that. They're just setting you up at that point.
Mine's usually like that.
My sister's usually down there late at night, so the light's on, but when she goes to bed, it's off.
Oh.
So it was like really silent, and I was like looking at every dark space in my house, like looking and listening for bad stuff. And I opened the cabinets, and you know how dishes make noise. I was like trying to be really careful, but they were making noises, and I was like nervous. And then I had to put my stuff in the microwave, and I was just sitting there with the beeping and the buzzing. It was like, it's horrible.
I
Yeah.
have a rule.
And then when it went off, like I accidentally forgot to take it out before it beeped, because I didn't want the beeping to go off, and so the beeping went off for a really long time, and I got really scared. And I was trying to call Aiden and ask him to call me because I was scared, but he didn't look at his phone, so I ran upstairs.
I'm 90% sure. I'm 90% sure I was in the shower when that happened. Just to clarify, I was not with my phone at the time.
Oh, that doesn't excuse it.
Also, last night I actually had to deal with that. I take it for granted a lot because at my mom's it was a single floor and my sister's bedroom is right at the kitchen, so she's right there when I'm in the kitchen. And I mean, it's not that way anymore because all of our rooms are on the second floor now that I've officially moved. And at my dad's, usually he's in the living room until late, like he sleeps on the couch because it's just easier for him with him being him and stuff, I guess. I don't know. But most of the time when I go down there, I don't have to worry about being alone. So I was playing Minecraft with people last night, and I was like, I'm gonna go get a bowl of cereal because I'm hungry. And I went downstairs. The lights were all off, and it was silent. And I like it's less than Chelsea's because I had lights on and it wasn't really that pitch black, but just being down there by myself after not having to deal with that for such a long time, I literally ran upstairs and got my earbuds so I could listen to music.
It just makes everything better. It makes you think of those memes where it's like the plane's going down, meanwhile my AirPods, and then it's like
Yeah,
life is a highway playing or something.
it's like the running up the stairs so the monster in the basement doesn't catch me when my lights turn off, except it's like putting on music instead of turning off the light.
Yeah. I think I've had. I don't know if I can really consider it the same thing, but when I was in like fourth grade, there was like this guy who did like face painting, but he told a story while he was doing it. There was this one story he told, and it was about I can't really remember, but I remember like the main thing that freaked me out. So it was like it was just a bridge that people couldn't well they physically could cross it, but it was like legend that nobody could ever make it to the other side. Because of like there was always some woman on it. And so I think it was just some guy went on a dare and he found the woman and woman like acted like normal for a minute, but then when he like refused to something, I don't remember, the woman turned into a freaking demon. And then
But was she a hot
They-
demon?
no,
Oh,
I don't know. There's no pictures, but probably not. I mean, she was it was meant to be like a beautiful woman, and then turns into a freaking demon that kills you like every time. Except this guy somehow managed to escape. And I don't know why that story freaked me out so much, but probably because I was 9 at the time. I think it was 9. But that night, story still ringing in my head. I little kid me was like, I need to go see if my parents are okay. So it's hard to explain the layout of the upstairs, but stairs are like in an L. So you go up one flight, then you stop, you turn right, and you go up another. And then when you're at the top of the second, you do a complete U-turn left. And there's like a balcony overlooking the stairs. That was pitch black. Like to get to my parents' room, you had to go past it, and it was like pitch black, and I was hearing creaking down there, and I just was frozen. I couldn't move. That was freaky. It was a short story, but I was standing there for probably about 10 minutes before I went into my parents' room. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to move. I thought it was like, oh my god, if I see, if a woman is standing there, I'm probably gonna go jump out my brother's window.
I want Chelsea to tell the story next, but while you're talking about that, I wanted to mention because I had a very similar experience. So I mentioned earlier my grandparents live out in the middle of nowhere, to the point where they literally run on solar power because it's cheaper than connecting to landline stuff. So we did a thing because it was a really clear night where we all went out and ate dinner around a campfire, and you could see like all the stars, and there were mountains surrounding us and stuff. It's honestly an extremely beautiful place, and I love going there. But you are just in one with nature, and there are creatures all around you and stuff. Anyways,
That was awesome.
none of the windows had their curtains down because that's just not how my grandparents roll. So I was bored and wanted to go back inside to sit on my computer because I'm the type of person who will see something, go, oh, that's cool anyways. So I don't like, I love looking up at space, but after like an hour I just get bored. So I went to go back inside, and I thought I saw something moving in the window, but I was like, come on, don't be a puss, just go inside already. And so I went inside, and I went to go up the stairs, and it's hard to explain, but basically how it works is you go up the flight of stairs, there's a landing, and then you go up another flight of stairs, and then there's basically a room there, but it's a balcony. So it's like a big landing, and then in the corner of that landing off to the right is a hallway, and down that hallway are the rooms. I'm not the best at explaining it, but I got to the landing, and I looked up the stairs, and it was just pitch black up there. and
Eee.
and it was like the way that the light faded. Have you ever seen those videos where the people are like in the room and they flick the light on, nothing's there, and then they flick it off, and then they on and off and on and off, and like it just builds up tension and stuff. It was the very similar to the lighting of those, but being off, except I was hearing creaks and stuff, and I was like, especially after seeing something possibly move, I was like, I'm not dying today. And also, this was over the summer, previous summer. So this was when I was into Mandela Catalog and Gemini Home Entertainment like a madman, and most of those take place in the middle of nowhere. So I was like, ah.
Oh my.
Well, okay, this one, it wasn't Mandela. It was Gemini. Gemini Home Entertainment was what was triggering me this time.
I'm not like complaining you're talking about it. It's just like, my God, if I ever wake up in the middle of the night and Mandela Catalog just happened to be on autoplay on my TV.
Oh, you're boned for sure.
I
You're
know.
absolutely screwed.
Especially if it's on, like I said, if it's on the Intruder one, I'm gonna chuck the remote at my TV or something.
He's just sitting there staring at you.
Yeah, no, if it's just the face, I'm probably gonna chuck something at the TV. Always buy another TV.
I can just imagine you sitting on the end of the bed with your lights on and all of your doors closed, just sitting there with your head in your hands, like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Wait, what? If the TV's on or after I just broke it?
Like you break the TV and you're still in panic with the light on and the doors closed, and you're just sitting there with your head in your hands, like still freaking out.
I'd probably do everything but sit there with my head in my hands. I'd probably get some sort of hard object in my room. Like I said, probably just be ready for something to come in through the door, and probably gonna kill me. But at least I'll have something to hit it with.
The fool the man that sleeps with an axe by his bed is a fool every night but one.
Exactly. I'm gonna get a machete.
Oh, I have many swords, and I'm ready to go to town if I need to.
I'm not a fan of deadly weapons usually.
Me neither, but these are all they're dull. They're dull. But I remember I was home alone at night one time. This isn't a horror story, but this is relating to it. And I remember being home alone, and it sounded like someone was coming home. So I called my parents because I was like superstitious that night for some reason. I don't think I watched anything. I was just on edge, and so I called my parents. Oh no, it was another time. Did I talk about the car in the first episode? It's been so long I can't remember. I was home alone and my parents went out somewhere with friends, and there was just a random car in my yard, in my driveway, and there was no one in it. And
Yeah,
was that during the podcast?
I don't think you talked about it during a podcast, but I've heard that story before.
Okay, so there was just a car sitting in my driveway, and I was home alone, and I don't recognize it, but the lights were on surrounding our yard, like the backyard light was on and the front yard light was on, and the front one is motion activated. So I assumed that someone had gotten out of the car and was on the premises. And I was home alone, so I grabbed my sword and I just sat in my room, like with YouTube playing to calm me down, with my door locked, ready to just pounce on someone with a sword.
Oh my.
I was so ready.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
In reality, I'd probably just end up taking the scabbard off and using that because it damaged the sword less. I'd rather beat someone with that than damage the sword.
His life is at risk, but he's still got to make sure that sword is squeaky clean.
Okay, plan B was to drop naked, so...
Oh my.
It
Interesting.
works! Just
I mean,
whip
it
your
does
nuts out
work,
and they run
yeah.
away.
It does work.
You're not supposed to be afraid, you're supposed to be the fear. You're supposed to be the fear in horror stories.
You made that quote. It's I am the danger.
Whatever. I'm not quoting Breaking Bad. I'm saying you're not supposed to be afraid. You're supposed to be the fear. You're supposed to strike the fear, not be stricken with fear.
You're supposed to be the hunter, not the hunted.
Yes. You're not I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Exactly.
It's like Halloween Kills, but they actually do stuff instead of get killed. I never watched the movie.
They beat the
Mm,
fuck out of him in one part, but then he killed everybody. But still,
um, I have a thing relating to what Aiden said.
go ahead.
So, like, you said that you were scared that somebody was gonna, like, come in, so you had your sword, like, ready. Yeah.
Yeah, I also had my knife in my pocket in case I actually needed to take like extreme measures because the blades would not cut them, but the knife would actually cause like bad damage.
Um, I I have those moments where I think somebody's gonna come in the house or something. So I have a knife collection, and they vary in size and function. And I used to keep my BB gun in my room in case that stuff happened. And I also have two knives stuck in the trim on the inside and the outside of my door. So, like, I got so many.
Wait, do you still have those knives there? Because I've never seen them before. If that's the case,
Yeah, I have one of them there still. Maybe you just never noticed it.
maybe it's there in case I do something. Maybe I'll try and kill you one day.
They're butter knives. You can't do anything with them.
No, maybe I'll try and kill you, and you'll have to use them for protection.
but, but I have my own moves.
Um, don't worry about it.
Butter knives would freak me out, man.
What do?
Butter knife would freak me out.
They're
Really?
so dull.
Oh, no, but I just wanted. That's funny to say that.
I just start
Mine
kicking.
is probably kicking.
Honestly, the trick is if you're being like attacked with someone's fists, is to just lay on your back and start kicking. Basically, what was it?
You do the little sibling technique.
Yeah. That technique is how I got a tooth kicked out.
Oh dear.
God damn, really?
Yeah, my sister stole my something, and I was chasing after her, and she was being mean, and she laid on my mom's bed and started kicking at me, and she kicked my jaw, and my one of my half of my tooth got kicked out, and so that tooth is permanently damaged, and so it's super sensitive to anything when I bite down on it. I can't eat crunchy pizza on that side of my mouth.
Which tooth is it?
I don't even remember.
You don't remember?
It's like 2 spots away from my front tooth on the left.
Remember I went to a dinner party once. This isn't at all scary, but I bit when I went to eat something. I bit the fork and then I chipped both the top and a bottom tooth.
No.
That was really uncomfortable.
Ooh. I watched.
Like the whole night, it was so uncomfortable.
I went to watch a play today for school, and in one of the scenes, like it's obviously fake, but the lady had cut her knee earlier, like really badly, and she was going to go swimming, and she like enacted getting in the pool with a really cut up knee, and it's salt water, and like her expressions were spot on, and I was sitting next to Riley and Will and a few other people that I know, and we were all just cringing at it because all of my suppressed memories of being in salt water with cut like parts of my body because I have really weak skin, just all of that came rushing back.
The worst feeling ever when you're in the ocean and you get hit by a massive wave and the salt water is just it's going so fast you can't stop it, just shoots up your nose, down your throat or something.
Ugh,
That is the worst feeling ever.
probably.
Probably. Have you never had it happen to you before?
No, I have, but never with salt water. I know there's like a
Oh,
thing.
salt water, so terrible.
There's a device that you can use. It's not really a device. You just put water in this bottle and you squirt it through your nose and it comes out the other nose and it's supposed to clean it out.
Have
What the
that.
hell?
Huh?
It's really cool.
It is. I've used it once when I was little and it is so uncomfortable. Nowadays, huh? What'd you say, Chelsea? Okay. It's probably really soothing now, especially if you use cold water. But like back when I was a little kid, have you done this before?
Yes.
Is it painful?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
I've never done it before. I puked out of my nose once though. That was a sight.
That is
That
nasty.
was a feeling. That was awful.
Whew. I don't even want to think about that.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I have a fear, not a horror story.
Okay.
So, this is at Daniel's house. Daniel would like. I wouldn't say that he would torture me per se, but he tried.
Me, Daniel, by the way.
Not this Daniel. He would try to help me in the worst ways possible. So I feel like I've told this story to you before, but I don't. It was not in Fears Part 1. I'm confident. So his basement at the time, this was probably 2016, was riddled with spiders and stuff. Specifically under his staircase. So what he did was he took my iPad and he put it under the staircase and said, if you want it, you have to get it back.
No.
No freaking way.
So I flipped out on him. I walked away. He had another friend over at the time. I refused to talk to either of them, and I just sat in his living room. Eventually, his mom came over and was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Daniel put my iPad under the stairs with all the spiders, and I have a fear of them." So Daniel and his mom went. I wouldn't say they went back and forth a little bit, but Daniel was like, "I was just trying to help him," and she was like, "Get the iPad. He clearly is not gonna grab it." And so what he did is he grabbed it, covered in cobwebs and spiders, and threw it on my lap, and was like, "There you go." And I flung it off me on the floor, and it was awful.
Hey, I mean, the mama bird teaches the baby birds how to fly by throwing them out of the nest.
Yeah,
Saying.
but that kind of stuff it doesn't work like it works like that for a fear, but not for a phobia, because like phobias can't be explained, so you can only make them worse. The only reason my phobia of spiders has gone down is because I haven't seen one in a very long time. I am proud to say it's probably been 5 or 6 months since I saw one in a house, in a room I'm in.
I just killed one before we started this podcast.
Well, yeah, that's because that's your basement. I'm never going in your basement ever again. Well, I'm just kidding. I can be down there for a little while.
Hooters aren't fun, especially when you see a big one. That's why you will probably never go to Australia.
No, I've scratched off Australia because I'm never going there. I saw a video from California because they have tarantulas in California. It was a video of someone in traffic and there was a car like in front of them, and it was a video of a tarantula crawling into the car between the headlight or the tail light and the trunk.
Oh.
And it fit between the crack there and it got in their car.
Oh God.
And I am so afraid of seeing a tarantula in the wild. My grandpa tells this story too, of his friends, the husband and wife, stayed at a friend's house one time in like some other place. It was like Arizona or something, and they were staying in this. It was rural, in like a deserty area, and they just decided to go on a walk in their backyard because they have a big backyard. And the further they got in the backyard, they realized there were holes in the ground. And so they kept walking, and they found this hill at the end of the yard, and they watched the sunset, and they were like, okay, let's go back. So they turned around, and as they were walking back, they saw a tarantula come up through one of the holes. And they realized that every single hole was a tarantula nest. And they had to walk through that minefield of tarantula nests knowing that that's what those were.
Oh God.
That kind of stuff makes me uncomfortable to sit on my bed because what if there's one underneath it?
Oh dear.
Well, lucky for you, tarantulas aren't native here.
Not at all, thank God. The biggest spider we have around here is a mouse spider, and the only person I know that's seen one is Neve, and it was in her basement.
A what spider?
Mouse. It's called a mouse spider.
Mouse.
I thought it was a wolf spider.
Mouse spiders are bigger.
Did not know that.
Wolf spiders are the most deadly ones around us. Mouse spiders are the biggest.
Oh dear.
Wolf spiders can kill, but they don't typically bite.
They get pretty big too.
Currently checking the corners of my room for spiders as we speak.
Of course you are.
I get really put on edge by this
What?
stuff. Thank Daniel.
I'm actually gonna do that too.
Check the
Hey, I
corners.
found one.
No way. Did you really? Did you actually?
Yes. Yes, I did. Daddy Longlegs. It's not like a spider, but Daddy Longlegs.
On the bright side, my dad has a friend whose job it is to like maintain houses or whatever, so he comes over in the spring and sprays all of our stuff so that bugs are, not attracted to it. So we typically don't get bugs in our house at all. But in the spring, I occasionally do see a spider on my roof or on my ceiling, and I just have my parents come in and kill it, and that's usually it for the year.
Sometimes I wish I got spiders in my room. All I get is stink bugs, bees, and centipedes. Spiders seem friendlier.
You should not have told me that, because I also have a fear of centipedes.
Listen, they haven't been in my room in a very long time. It's okay.
I don't believe that. The It's Okay at the end made me not like it even more.
But there's nothing in there.
Sure.
There's
Stink
no...
bugs.
Stink bugs. I have seen a stink bug because it got in your light. I remember that.
Yes, the stink bugs are the most common.
Stink bugs I'm actually fine touching. Stink bugs and bees are the only ones I'm okay with those two.
One dropped off the ceiling and landed on me.
Right now.
No.
Stink bug. No. It just freaked me out. No, it wasn't right now. It was a while ago. But that happened once. One fell off of the ceiling and landed on my shoulder, and I started freaking the fuck out because it scared me.
I've had a stink bug. I think it was a stink bug. I've had some bug. So I left my shirt on a rock when we went swimming, and so I picked it up and put it on, and an insect came out of it, crawled up my neck and on my chin, and I just swiped it away quickly, and I didn't see what it was. It's the same as the last time I saw a spider in my room. It was crawling on my back, and I grabbed it, I slapped it, and I looked at it in my hand, and I was like, huh. And so I just did this thing where I like sprinkled it to get it off my hand over my back. And it was late, and I looked over and I was like, wait, what was that? And I looked over and it was gone.
Oh dear.
My dad did tell me though, and I have looked into this and I believe him, that when spiders see any form of human life, regardless of what kind of spider, except for huntsmans that are native to Australia, if a spider sees something that is bigger than them, they are outie, even if that's where their nest is. They stay still, and once you leave the room, they leave entirely. They are out of there for miles.
Clearly, you've never heard of a camel spider.
I don't want to hear about these. Next question.
Okay, this will be my last spider story, and we can stop talking about spiders.
Okay.
So, as Aiden has made it clear, I am in the basement, and my basement has a lot of spiders in it.
Right.
Although it's mostly daddy long legs. I also have a bathroom down here where I shower, meaning that sometimes a spider will get into the shower.
Where you're trapped. Makes me think of the movie Arachnophobia.
Yeah, but in this case, this was after I finished showering. I just turned the water off, and I went to grab the towel, like a towel, because I have a hook right next to the shower. I just reach my hand out, grab it. And when I pulled the curtains back a little bit, there was a really, really big spider on the curtain right next to my hand, and I almost grabbed it. Thank God I didn't.
Oh dear.
And I freaked out, and what I quickly did was I grabbed the curtain it was on, put it against the wall, and I just punched it as hard as I could.
Dan, I don't know if you remember this part. I know you definitely remember the moment, but we reminisce about it. The day when we went to the park and fought with weapons that we made.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know if you remember this, but when we were there, I was walking up to the baseball field because I was looking for something. I can't remember what it was, but I put my hand on the side of the batting cage just to wrap around it, and I felt a sharp pain in my finger, and I spun around to look at what it was. I stuck my hand in a wasp nest.
Yeah, I remember this.
It was awful. I had 3 stings on my middle finger for 2 weeks. Now I'm getting that feeling on my body where my parts of my body are just itching for no reason. I get this a lot when I think about spiders.
We can stop talking about bugs now.
That's my number one fear is insects.
Mm,
Tell you a funny story that scared me.
Okay.
Haunted houses, right?
Ugh.
I don't do well in them, like at all.
Oh my god.
What?
I just realized I never talked about the haunted house story in our first episode. Go ahead with yours.
It's just a funny one. So, I went to a haunted house Halloween time with some friends just for a night once, and haunted houses are not good. I'm not good with them, especially because in the fight or flight instinct, as Aiden knows, I don't know if you do, Chelsea, my choice is to fight. And so basically almost not even 3 minutes after we've been inside, I've already freaked out, screamed at the top of my lungs so many times because it was so loud, and it's just people screaming at you, and I just don't like loud noises. And what threw me over the edge was when a person jumped out of the wall and got right up in my face. And I was like, oh my god, I'm about to die. What do? I swing. So I swung to the poor guy right in the cheekbone. And I felt so bad because then he was staggered. He had to break character because I just hit him. And I was like, oh my god, dude, are you okay? Don't scare the shit out of me like that again, please.
It's literally his job.
I know it's his job. I ended up buying him some food.
Oh, really?
I just felt bad, yeah.
How'd you get it to him?
I don't know. I asked him if he wanted something to eat. He was like, yeah, sure. So
How
I was like, yeah,
how'd the
please let me make it up to you.
Did you go back into the house to give it to him or something?
There was like a little, okay, so there's like I don't even know how to explain it because it's not like a trap door and it's not really like a hidden door.
Like an
There's just like
emergency
another
exit?
door, that kind of, and he just like, was just like here, yeah. Kind of like reached his hand out and I gave it to him.
What'd you give him? Do you remember?
This was like maybe not 4 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. It was probably just like burger and some fries or something because I didn't have a job and that was I couldn't like I didn't have very much money. But yeah, I did that. I felt very bad.
Chelsea,
That's why I don't go in haunted houses anymore.
I don't like them. Chelsea, do you have a horror story you'd like to share now?
Sure. It's short, so you could do yours after. I really like haunted houses and scary stuff, but like the first time that I ever went to Fright Night, I was like intimidated and afraid of the loud noises. So I was like, Dad, can we go home? And he said yes. So the next day we went back and I had earplugs this time. And everything was fine. I went through everything just fine and I wasn't scared of anything. With haunted houses, I like going with people so I can watch them get scared because it's nice.
It's always funny watching other people's reactions, but then when you get scared yourself, it's just I don't like it.
Yeah, speaking of which, we'll get
Earplugs probably would have made it so much better.
this is my awesome horror story. This is the horror story. Like the horror story, because this is what made me so much of a wuss. This one adventure alone. And also, I just want to mention, Dan, for as impenetrable as you are, I completely forgot that horror breaks you.
Yeah, no, I can't do it, dude. I turn into a crying baby when I get confronted with shit like that.
Damn right you do. So,
Don't say it like that. Don't say it like that.
so
I don't even know why it made me uncomfortable, but it made me uncomfortable.
this was either 2013 or 2014. I know this because my dad and my sister were going to go with our neighbors to a haunted house. And I was too young to be left home alone at the time. even though I thought myself more than capable. So my dad said, I know you don't like haunted houses, but if you come with me, I'll buy you something at the store. So he bought me this Minecraft creeper, like, action figure thing, which was really cool at the time. Eventually, all of its legs broke off because it was just like a single
Oh.
plastic mold, so I had to throw it out. But he bought me that, and I agreed to go with them. We got to the front door of the haunted house, and everything was already getting pretty scary. It was a 13 up house, and I was at least 7, at most 9. I was definitely 8 at most. I was either 7 or 8, because I know it was before 3rd grade. And so
Okay.
the guy at the front desk, it wasn't really a front desk, it was this guy dressed up like a mime, and he was on the other side of these like iron bars, and the lighting was like purple, and he was like, hello, welcome to the haunted house, and he was like doing this whole like yo ho 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 thing, and he looked at me and he was like, are you sure you want to take this young one in? He seems a little too young for this. And my dad was like, ah, yeah, he'll be fine. So we continued through the haunted house. I made sure that I was in between my dad and our neighbor, because that way the people in front would be scared and the people behind would be scared. And you know, that usually happened for a while. My sister and my neighbor, who were like childhood friends, were in the front, and then my neighbor was in front of me, and then I was there, and then my dad was in the back. And some stuff would happen from time to time, like my neighbor, he'd get jumped by like this chainsaw thing that would like jump out from the side, like fling out and then pull back, and it was probably activated by someone on the other side of the wall, because it was very narrow tunnels. But eventually you'd come up to a room or something, or people would pass by you or around you to see something that was going on, or to take the hit because we knew something was coming up. And it got to the point where eventually I was in the back. And so we were walking in the back, and I was like clinging to my dad's shirt, and at this point I was like up to his waist, so I was like really short. And I remember we were walking, and nothing had happened in a while. So I was like, something's definitely going to be happening. And I felt, you know how you like have a sense of like your surroundings even though you're not looking?
Yeah.
I sensed something behind me, so I turned around, and there was this dude that had like a burned off, kind of like Freddy Krueger, but more like more like morphed and whacked out. Like he had an eye missing, and his ear was like down his face, and it was all melted. And he had his like fingers together in front of his face, like creepily bending them in, and like looking like he was about to pounce on me. I screamed at him. I went, ah! At the top of my lungs at him, and my dad turned around and he quickly grabbed me and pulled me in front of him, and I was already freaked out. And at this point my neighbor had found a door next to him, so he opened it and walked through, and we all followed. And my sister and my neighbor's daughter was still ahead, but they came back out with us to the door. And what we didn't realize until we had already left, and I gathered this first but no one listened to me, we had gone out an emergency door. And I got to get a good look at the guy, because he opened the door to look at us and then just closed the door. So he was not going to let us back in. But eventually we had to go back around to the entrance and was like, hey, we accidentally went out an emergency door. And they were like, all right, we'll just go in again. And I ended up not going back in again because I had a breakdown in the parking lot. Because I was so scared. I was like in 2nd grade, like, I am not going back in there, with tears streaming down my face. So my dad had to sit with me in the car, and eventually when everyone else came out, we went to like the back of the house, and there was like this outdoor area where they had like drinks and food, and people were getting scared, and I was like laughing at it because like I heard the chainsaw guy go off, and he laughed, like the chainsaw thing. The guy, the weird animatronic would pop out and go, and the chainsaw would rev, and I heard a guy go, ah! from it. And so I laughed, and my dad was like, see, it's funny when other people get scared, so it should be funny when you get scared. And I was like, that's not really how it works.
It's funny to other people when I get scared, but not to me.
Yeah. And so ever since then, I've never been in a haunted house since then.
Speaking of other people laughing at you when you get scared, have either of you ever heard of La Llorona?
Yes.
No?
It's like Spanish legend. It's like about a mother who wanted to marry some guy, and she had 2 kids, but he didn't like kids. So she drowned her 2 kids,
Oh dear.
and like after she does it, she immediately regrets it. And La Llorona translates to, I think it's the weeping woman, and it's like from then on, like it goes, the legend goes, for like eternity, she searches for kids to take back to the river, and she drowns them. But it's like it phrases it like to be her kids. But basically, she takes children and drowns them. But
That
there was a movie around it, and she was so freaky because it was like I think the Nun, that movie.
I never watched it, so I don't know.
Well, do you know what the killer looks like?
No, but
Oh,
I know I can understand what you're imagining.
it's just like a really pale woman in like what looks like a wedding gown, but her face is really pale, and there's just black tears always streaming down her face.
Okay.
It's really freaky.
I can.
But I watched what.
The visual sounds freaky, but the folklore kind of falls apart for me, because the thing is like, oh yeah, she killed her kids, so now she just kidnaps other kids to kill because she was so upset about killing her own kid that she just went back and killed other people's kids. I don't know. That doesn't really make
Hey,
sense to me.
I don't get the legend. The legend, like I said, it phrases it like she looks for other children to get to be her to like replace her children that she killed. But yeah, I guess it does. It doesn't really make sense because she just kills them. But uh, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I was watching the movie with some friends, and jump scares, I can't handle them. Oh God, please don't.
Are you okay?
Yep, you sent a picture.
Is that her?
Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't on it, and then I scrolled down and I saw it. Honestly, just looking at it right now is giving me the heebie-jeebies, so I'm not gonna look at it. That's not what she looked like in the movie, but it was pretty similar.
I'm gonna tap out of the group chat because I need to sleep tonight.
There was like a jump scare. I kid you not. I yelled, stood up, and threw my hands up like I was about to punch something.
Oh dear.
That's kind of how I was when I
All
saw
my
Kang on screen for the first time. Completely unrelated. I watched Loki at 3 a.m. because there were so many hints of it being Kang, being like the villain at the end. And so I was like, once he showed up, I jumped in the air, put my hands on my head, and went, "Oh my god!"
Well, no, I didn't do that. I got in like a fighting position. Like I was ready to swing.
It reminds me,
Oh,
you know
And
that.
then
Do you just keep sending pictures of the woman? Oh, it's the cat.
No, it's cats.
Let me. There's
It's
this.
cat.
There's this video of these guys that are brawling, and they brawl off screen, and then this guy goes to follow them, and then he just does a roundhouse kick, and then continues following them.
Oh, I saw that video.
I want to see if I can find
yeah, all my friends were dying of laughter, and I was like, "Well, God fucking damn it!" And then I walked away and just slammed my hands on the ground because I was still like scared, but I was also embarrassed because I just was about to punch a TV screen. What are you looking for, Aiden?
Give me a second. Here it is. That gif.
It's the
Yeah,
guy. My goodness, it's such good form.
That's like
The caption that I had to look up because I remembered it was when you accidentally use your ultimate.
that's what I was about to say. It's like when you're playing UFC or a WWE video game and you just horribly miss your combo.
Yeah.
All will
I
be
love
on
the
the-
way that he stops in the stance before he continues walking. It's totally like
He's
a
like-
video game.
Oh, did I get anybody? Oh no, I'm gonna keep going this way. I'm gonna go try it again.
My goodness.
It's so funny.
It will all be on the Instagram. All of it.
It's all gonna be. Now that I know I can save gifs and post them, it's all gonna be different. Does that mean? Oh, I'm gonna have to look at all the pictures again to put them on. How about you manage the Instagram from now on? You know, how
I'm not looking at La Llorona. I'm not looking at her face.
how about we
I'm not
let
doing
people
it.
Google that one?
They can do that. Why not?
You can for the visual picture when you put it on, you can just write Google it yourself.
Yeah, why not? Well,
Um,
except I don't have the timestamps.
oh, true.
I have a question.
Shoot.
Do you guys ever have any nightmares that involve really, really, really bad stuff?
I've had some that involve the Blue Meanies.
What are
Pull
those?
back.
That was in episode 1. That was the original Fears and Horror Stories video.
Oh,
When I woke up and I was running.
oh,
Yeah. I thought you watched all these. Did you not watch that?
oh, good. I just don't remember.
Not memorable enough.
I have some nightmare thingies, but if you guys have any, you can.
You go first.
Oh, okay. Let me look at my notes. Oh, okay. I have two that I remember. So this first one, it seems like it would be worse than the second one, but to me it's not the worst. I don't know. So this was like one of my most realistic nightmares, dreams, I don't know. So I went downstairs to my kitchen, and the lighting, like, it looked like it was 7 p.m. and my mom was in the kitchen, and she had this giant, like, stake going through her back, like, and, like, it was so clear. She was looking slightly up at the ceiling, and her eyes were open, and her mouth was open a little, but there was no blood, I don't think, but it was like, maybe there was blood? I don't remember,
That
but it was
genuinely
just
sounds awful.
that for like, I don't know how many minutes, but that's all I remember from that one nightmare. And I had a second one, and the reason why this second one seems worse than the first one is because of, I don't know, it seemed scarier to me. It was like a weird sex trafficking dream, and
Mental flashbang there.
so I used to go to this playground for rec when I was younger. Like, they would have staff members and they'd play with us and we'd do like games and stuff. And in this nightmare dream, there was a tower that was put there, and it was supposed to be the pavilion where we would all like meet up for meetings, but instead it was a tower. And I was in a line with a bunch of other girls, and we were all like not wearing anything, and there were two guards at the door of the tower, and they were telling us to go in one by one. And when it was my turn to go in, it wasn't like the dream like switched. So at first it was really scary, but I think my brain was like, hey, this is too scary, so I'm gonna switch it up. So instead of some weirdo being in the room that I was assigned to go into, it was an octopus. And that,
Uh-oh.
there were like a bunch of colors in the room. It was like a galaxy looking thing. I don't know. Maybe I blocked it out. I don't know. It was an octopus.
Space octopus.
Yes.
I forgot to mention. When you said I'm gonna look at my notes, I looked at my notes to see if I made one, and I literally made one note for Fears Part 2.
Oh,
You'll
what
never
was the
guess what
note?
it's about.
Blue meanies, spiders.
Spiders.
Oh,
It's about how I gained my fear of spiders.
oh,
I feel like I talked about it. Have I talked about the woods of my aunt's house at all on podcast?
You already did.
I did when I peeled away the bark.
You did. Oh no.
Okay. So I've talked about the wrong aunt. This is my grandtie, not my aunt.
Oh, okay.
So my grandtie and my grandpa lived out in the middle of nowhere, kind of over near some of my other grandparents. Not like any of you would know. None of them live out there anymore. It's kind of like a dying town. But they lived in like a swampy area with a lot of woods in their backyard. Their house by itself was creepy because like I'd have nights like when I was staying in their room and it was in their house and it would settle a lot, and my cousin would sleep in the other room and she could only sleep with music. So I'd hear her like crappy 2009 pop music playing while I was trying to sleep when I was younger.
Crappy.
It was the bad stuff. But
2009 had some bops.
it did. But it also had some flops.
It's true.
Anyways, during that trip, it was just me and her because my sister was out doing probably some sport commitment because that's usually the priority for her, especially back then. But we decided to go out in the woods and make a teepee out of the wood. Like we'd lean it all up against a tree and make like a teepee with a bunch of like of the broken branches. Some of them, huh?
TP.
Yes, teepee. Some of the branches had all of their bark stripped off already. Some of them didn't. So I was like, to make it all look uniform, I'm gonna strip off all the bark. So I started stripping off all of the bark to one of the branches, and as I stripped it off, there was a bunch of white sticky stuff on it, and I was like, what is this? And I started touching it with my finger, and
Oh, jizzed on the tree.
a bunch of spiders crawled out of it. I had accidentally peeled back an entire spider's nest, and they were all like going up and around my hands and stuff, and it was freaky.
Oh dear.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
No.
Sounds. It's very bad. Was it like just a bunch of baby spiders, or were they like?
They were like the tiny ones. Like there was one big one that I'm assuming was the mother, but then there were a bunch of minuscule ones.
Must have been like you must have destroyed like an egg sack.
That's what I think. Have you seen the video of the person trying to like sweep it up, but they accidentally drop the broom and it crushes the egg and all the spiders go everywhere?
Yeah.
Aiden,
What?
does that mean they were all C-sections?
No.
Dang it.
Why does that not make it a C-section?
They weren't in the hospital. They didn't get put in the C-section.
What?
The reason it's called a C-section is because they put specific babies in specific places depending on how they came out, and the C-section is where they put babies that were cut out.
But you like opened the food.
Well, then the procedure. Then they got C-section procedured.
The procedure
Or
was the
forcibly
same, but they are
removed.
not technically a C-section because they never went to the C-section.
Well, we are considering C-section as the procedure.
In that case, yes. That would make them a C-section. But by definition, no, they are not. But in your definition, yes, they are.
You gotta be technical. You've always gotta be technical.
I mean, technically.
Yeah, shut up. Shut up.
There was once a mama spider on my pool deck, and I didn't see it at first, but she had a bunch of babies on her back, and I touched her, and they were all in the pool. So like all the babies like climbed off of her back, and they all went in the pool, and they were gliding on the water.
Did they die?
They're long dead.
Oh, good.
This was years ago.
I wish all bugs were like fruit flies. They die in 2 days.
Oh my.
It doesn't matter because there's still a shit ton of them.
Yeah. The world would be better off without insects, I think. We should find a planet that doesn't have them.
Okay, you are so wrong in saying that. You are so wrong in saying that. You have no idea how wrong you are.
I mean, we can keep the ants and the bees and
No.
the only
You
reason
need-
the majority
you
of
need
some
all.
insects exist are simply just for population control. Which Mother Nature has its own version of population control, but we're not getting into that today.
Aiden, if you don't like insects and you think the world would be better off without them, then why don't you love spiders? Spiders' jobs to eat other insects.
Yeah, why do you think I love bats? Because bats eat the spiders.
Bats eat mosquitoes.
Bats eat spiders.
That's
Sure, they eat
true.
spiders, but the spiders eat the bugs.
Uh-huh.
It's a food chain. It's a circle of
Whoa.
life.
Food chain. Do-do.
Bye.
I don't know the song. I'm not going to be wrong, but there's a song in Adventure Time called "The Food Chain."
I remember that.
See, here's the thing. I don't really get bothered by insects as much as I do spiders. They have to have more than 6 legs, and I'll be afraid.
So you're telling me if you just had an enormous... Actually, no, that would be cool.
Enormous
I was gonna say... a big, like a rhinoceros beetle crawling on you, but then I was like, that would actually be pretty cool.
No,
Oh,
I'd
dear.
probably be afraid of that because they can kill. They are very deadly.
Like, Mom.
Rhinoceros beetles. I'd be afraid simply because of how dangerous they are. Like regardless of whether you're afraid of spiders, you would be horrified if there was a huntsman spider on you.
No doubt.
That's the equivalent of a coyote chasing you.
I look at coyotes just like dogs, except they're wild.
They scream a lot.
I do. I've seen coyotes before, and I've also like in the wild. It's not as terrifying as you might think.
No, but when you're chasing after them and they look hungry, then you're scared. That's my point.
I mean, they're chasing after you.
Yes. English.
You're
hard.
not chasing after a hungry coyote.
God, no. I would never.
I have question.
Go.
What are your thoughts on deep bodies of water?
Okay, they're cool, but they're also terrifying.
I am fascinated. But I will never go to...
Think. Never what?
I'll never visit them because Subnautica, but I'm so fascinated by the ocean.
I think everybody has a bit of thalassophobia. It's not really like it's the fear of the ocean, but it's not really like the fear of the ocean as it is what's in the ocean or like what could be in the ocean. Because only 5% of it has been discovered, which is so kind of scary to think about. Oh my god, have you guys ever seen the video of the alien squid in the Gulf of Mexico?
Yes.
Okay, I need to find it for you. Chelsea, you know what I'm talking about, but it was so creepy to look at.
What was it called?
It was also cool. I'm gonna look it up for you.
No, what was it called? I didn't hear that.
It was like the thing was like alien squid in Mexico. I don't remember the actual name of the squid.
I sent a gift.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
It's terrifying. I don't like that.
It makes me think... That's another thing that reminds me of Gemini. They have an episode about the Mariana Trench.
That wasn't like the Mariana Trench, but like, God, it's just so freaky to look at.
Yeah. No, the Mariana Trench is horrifying because that's the only notable place that we know of right now, or that we did at the time that the thing takes place, where we know we don't have the ability to travel to. My eye just cut out, didn't I?
A little bit, but it's alright. I know what you said.
Like we will not be able to explore the depths of the Mariana Trench, most likely. If I remember correctly.
Well, not right now. I bet that eventually, in like another 300 years, they'll eventually come up with something.
Okay, here's the thing. Here's my theory, right? So people, the big argument of whether we should explore the ocean or explore space. What do you think?
Ocean. I would rather know what's on the planet I live on and what's out on a world that I will never visit.
Okay. Here's my explanation. I think we should explore the ocean because you know how much pressure there is underwater? I mean, if you try to take a blobfish up to the earth to up to the surface, they will literally burst all of their muscles in their body. That's why they look the way they do. They look like a normal fish, but when they get brought to the surface, all of their muscles just break. They just like stretch apart and they are in agonizing pain because their bodies aren't built for such light pressure. What if there's some sort of ore or mineral underneath the bottom of the water that exists solely because of how much pressure there is, and we can use that to further our space travel so much? We know what we can see because there's no dark depths stopping us from seeing. Yeah, that picture right there. That's what it looks like when all of their muscles just break. I don't know what the word is, but you know what I'm saying. Um,
I get you, yeah.
but we know that there's nothing new for us out. We can't discover anything in space because we can see planets already. We're already searching space, but we can't search the ocean because we don't have the materials.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I never saw much of the use in exploring space. I don't understand it. I've never understood it.
New planets that we could live on, intelligent life.
It's cool to know that like intelligent life would exist, but like I don't the whole idea of going to another planet, it's like we exist on this planet because we were made to exist on this planet,
Well,
not
not
on another one.
necessarily. There's some dude, I don't remember his name, but if you look at it, we're actually not designed to be on this planet.
Okay, then where the hell are we supposed to be?
I don't know, but our skin burns from the sun. Our feet hurt while running in the woods. We
Okay,
we don't have any spot on the food chain here.
it's because we evolved to become so dependent on this stuff. We've evolved to become primitive pussies.
Not necessarily. Also, according to just basic biology, if we were supposed to be predators, we would have evolved to have our knees facing the other direction. It would have allowed us to run better. But instead, our knees face forward. They bend forward as opposed to backwards.
Okay, I don't see what kind of point that proves, but
It just proves that we weren't supposed to be predators like we were. Any way you slice it, we're just not built to exist here. I mean, there's a theory that all life started when an asteroid hit Earth carrying bacteria, and every living thing on Earth evolved from there, which is possible. There's also a theory that Mars used to look like Earth. Mars looked like Earth, but because there was so much CO2 in the atmosphere, it eventually collapsed the ozone layer, and Mars turned into Mars.
or it's just what South Park did. It's all a reality TV show.
Sure.
Honestly, I think that that would be such a funny explanation. I don't think either of you have ever know what I'm talking about, do you?
Huh?
South Park?
Yeah, I watched South Park.
We've watched it
You know that
together,
episode? Yeah, I know, but not that episode.
I guess.
I remember an episode where it was like, were they aliens? They're like Earth season something something. I don't know.
Yeah, it was aliens were like so we had it was like Universe TV network, and they were like, we had this genius idea. What if we take the deer planet, the deer from the deer planet, the fish from the fish planet, and we put them all, and then humans from the human planet, we put them all on one planet so that we can watch them kill each other. And
Interesting.
then it was like #1 rated show in the universe. I thought that was really funny.
I like the idea that there's aliens watching us right now.
I
'Cause
don't.
there's a rule, the Star Trek rule, you know. Apparently, it's a rule from Star Trek, but it's something I thought of myself, which is if a species is able to evolve itself, let them evolve, and once they've become advanced enough, then we can incorporate them into our lifestyle. But until then, stay completely out of their way, so that because if we were to be helped along by aliens, we wouldn't learn. Like, we can barely even live with each other. How are we going to live with other alien races? We'd probably, if aliens showed themselves, we'd probably start a war, which is scary in its own right.
Oh dear.
That's true, actually. But if anything, we're kind of devolving right now.
Devolving?
Huh?
Devolving?
Going the other way.
Is it because of the technology?
Not in terms of technology, but like,
We have equipment to rely on now. We're not just using our bare body.
Hmm.
I don't know, because, like, we evolved to live on land, but at the same time, like, there's so much to do in the water. Why couldn't we live on both? Because fish can breathe through their skin. Why can't we breathe through our skin and our nose? They breathe water through their skin. Why can't we breathe water through our skin and air through our nose? Both provide oxygen, then we can live in both places.
well, that's just how we evolved. I don't know.
We still
That's
have
how we
webs.
adapted.
To an extent, we have webs between our fingers and toes, so we're supposed to swim to some extent.
Not very much. Well, then you just think about like penguins and stuff, and platypuses and seals and whales and dolphins and any aquatic mammal.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
How would we even, like, how would the process of humans being able to live in the water, like, transition and stuff?
So, if evolution takes millions and millions and billions of years, so chances are we're already on our way to evolving to be able to stay in the water and fly and all that stuff. We're probably slowly evolving to be a perfect like a perfect creature. I'm not even kidding. Like, we are
Not fly.
No, it's possible.
No, it's not.
We'll
Our
look-
bones need to be hollow. Your
We-
bones need to be hollow in order to fly like a bird does.
We can evolve to be like that.
The fuck do you evolve your bones to no longer have bone marrow in the
That-
middle of them?
That's just how nature is, bro. How do birds fly?
We show no need for flying. We have planes and stuff. Like I don't know how evolution is such a weird thing to try to explain.
Humans swim so much, and we have to hold our breath so much while we're swimming, that it just makes sense for us to evolve to be able to breathe underwater again.
Well, because we have submarines and stuff like that. Nobody ever tries to do that sort of stuff. Body adapts when it's like, think about like working out. Your body gets stronger because you're damaging it, so that it regrows stronger. So if you're just relying on a submarine, then you're not actually getting the. I guess you're not training your body, is how I'm saying it, to learn and adapt to change like that.
I don't think it's necessarily that. It's more of like our next step as a species is exploring the water or exploring space. So we kind of need to evolve to do that. Because there's, like, sure, we can use technology, but it's hard. And we can't get far with that. It's hard to explain.
Do you think humans are gonna become like cyborgs in the future?
Yes.
Probably, yeah.
I think there's eventually going to come a time, and this is a horrifying thing to think about, there's going to become a time when people are going to opt to having robotic limbs as opposed to actual human limbs.
I wonder what they're gonna do with the sensitive parts.
Make them bigger.
So, I mean, plastic surgery is only the start.
Oh, dude.
Ugh, don't get me
AI is
started.
terrifying.
If that's just the start, then we need to put an end to it real quick.
AI is scary. Okay.
I don't think so.
What?
Because I think eventually there will be, like, we have ways to prove everything false. Like, there are ways to prove deep fakes and filters false. There's way to prove, like, voices. There's already ways to prove deep faked voices false. We have the technology. Even if deep fakes can become 100% accurate looking, I'm sure that, like, we already are on the way to make the technology to prove that it's not the real person.
I am so confused what this has to do with AI.
You just said AI is scary. I'm referring to stuff like deep faking and stuff. Like deep AI being able to replicate people, like how they sound and how they look.
It's not really replicating like the human. It's just more like you give robot a consciousness, then it's not likely a lot of good is gonna come from that.
You know, I used to think that, like, humans are made up of flesh and bone, and we're an actual living organism. So even though robots can simulate consciousness, they can never actually be conscious like us. And then I remembered that down to a molecular level, we're basically the same as all the material around us. So it is fully possible to give robots a consciousness.
Which is scary.
It is. It is. We are. I mean, you remember the apple pie that will feed the world video that I showed you? I want to see if Discord has the GIF.
I don't know if I remember.
No, it's like this pie of apple. It's probably fake. But I have seen, like, people have been able to implant, like, muscles and, like, organisms and stuff. Like they've been able to implement, like, functioning parts into, like, non-functioning things, like a banana. Like, I've seen bananas that pulsate and stuff, and basically have, like, a beating heart, and it is freaky. And I'm assuming that it's real because I almost want it to be real, because I just think that's so freaky, and it's never going to progress us anywhere as a species, but that's so interesting to think about. I mean, technically it could. It's the first steps in being able to bring someone back from the dead.
Why would anybody want to do that?
Come back from the dead?
Yeah.
Maybe I wasn't ready to die yet. Maybe someone died of disease when they were like 7.
Well, then that makes sense. But like, realize that people are just gonna keep coming back from the fucking. Oh my god, that's a My Little Pony gif.
Oh god, what is it? Ugh.
It's gonna keep. They're at. It's after me.
Yeah. That's another fear of mine, is that the My Little Pony fans will take over.
Oh my.
That's a terrifying thought, isn't it?
Furries ruling the world is awfully horrifying.
It's a terrifying thought. I said this in the last episode that'll be out when this comes out. You're not octopus. You're not a wolf. You are not a tiger. You're not a Tasmanian devil.
I'm a human.
I get it, you like to play dress up. But you can't actually believe that you are a different species. I bet furry convention's actually pretty fun, but like I get lost when people.
You want to go to one?
I'm probably not, but it would just be interesting. But I'm still lost at people who actually, like, when they legitimately 100% believe that they are not in fact human.
Have you heard of the furry pizza event? Have I told you about that?
No.
During a furry convention, a bunch of furries got ordered a pizza to a hotel. They got in a circle and all masturbated on it, and then left it outside of a random hotel's door.
What the heck?
And I don't know what happened to it.
Oh my.
Jizz pizza. Jesus. My freaking gag reflex, Aiden. Jesus.
That's not me.
Cold?
That's Chelsea.
Talked about a cum pizza.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the gift she put in chat. She's putting gifts in right now.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
see that. That just looks like bubbling chocolate, to be honestly.
Hmm.
To be honestly.
Honesty is good.
Honesty is a mediocre policy.
Sometimes you gotta lie.
Sometimes. Just like how I have to lie about how the episode isn't over yet because it's not been an hour and a half.
Oh, it hasn't.
No, it hasn't. And
You
Jack
don't get to look at this.
Jack totally isn't about to end us out in a few minutes. And Chelsea totally isn't thanked for being on the episode today.
Jack, we never talked about Jack this episode.
We just did.
Well, we just did now. I'm gonna call him an angry little man again. Jack, you're an angry little man. Please don't take my kneecaps.
He's gonna take him. Chelsea, do you want to say anything?
Eat your vegetables.
No.
I said eat them now.
Oh shit. Okay. Oh god. I'm just gonna eat these Pringles.
That's not vegetables.
Pringles are close enough. I had corn yesterday, and banana peppers. So there's that.
Interesting.
That's nice.
I had it with steak.
I have steak for lunch tomorrow.
Steak in the back.
Chelsea, would you like to tell Jack to take us out?
With a gun?
No, to round off the episode.
If I see Jack waddle up to me with a gun, I might die laughing.
The fact that you used waddle to describe him.
No, I just feel like that would be something he would do is like a bit. He would hold a gun and he would just, on purpose, he would like do a weird waddle up to you.
You know,
and get in like a wide stance or something.
I never considered it, but he does waddle kind of.
He has a mesmerizing walk. He's able to take strides, but his head doesn't go up or down.
He walks like an NPC, I swear to God.
Honestly, it's a mystery, honestly. How the fuck does Jack walk like that?
Tune in next time, not without your tinfoil hats, for we will be taking a trip to the land of make-believe, visiting Caleb and his crazy conspiracy theory. Join us next time on the Figgleheads.